Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for this is your March bonus reading, and we're going to jump right in here. You have this commit card. Sure, we'll take all three. You have commit, illuminate, and intuition. So a lot of people have been getting these cards of kind of like intuition, and we do have like a ton of planets in Pisces right now, so it kind of makes sense that intuition is going to be illuminated, and we could be feeling very intuitive as well. One thing that I would say is I do feel that we need to be careful of our, like what we believe at this time, and what I'm referring to is our limiting beliefs, because it's a very good time for manifestation, but I would say that it's also a good time for like negative belief systems to kind of like pop up. It's like not that the astrology is bad, but it's just a time where I think things could be kind of popping up where we believe something more negatively than we need to, or we believe that things are going to, fall apart here, but it might not be true. And it's kind of funny that I said that, and then you get the Nine of Swords in the Tower at the end. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about that yet. We'll see what comes up here, Taurus, but again, I think we need to commit. You have that commit card, and literally your first card is the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is about what we commit to. Now, of course, it is a card of marriage, but, it doesn't have to be love, right? It could, or, you should be committing to things that you love, of course. But I feel that this reading is saying it's time to commit to your intuition, or, to things that make you feel good, and not, don't commit to the negative story is what I was feeling. And I literally said that, and you have the Nine of Swords that, popped up in the area of your future feelings. As I always say, prison, tarot is not a prison sentence, so I always give advice on how to change these outcomes. So again, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but, it's the first thing that popped into my head, that you need to make sure that you're not committing to that negative story, and that you're committing to the, the positive outcome that you desire. Your crossing energy is the King of Swords, and, funny enough, King of Swords could be being too logical about something. Like, we're not necessarily in a logical time. We're in, like, a kind of a weird time because of Pluto and Aquarius, and also some other things that are going on. And so we have this energy where, we can be a little bit, we should be a little bit more flexible with our dreams, is what I'm trying to say. If there was, as I always say, if there was ever a time where you could accomplish something impossible, it's probably right now, but you're going to have to like set out and do it. The other thing about the King of Swords is that he can represent like history, and I kind of feel that this is a big theme for you, Taurus, where you do have to let like your history die. And I don't mean that to sound maybe as bad as it does, right? But I feel that there are just like so many new ways that you could be doing things and creating things, and working on projects or businesses or whatever. And I would be kind of embracing new ideas, committing to new ways of doing things. All that comes up for you all the time. Next, in the area of what's on your mind, or the area of your thoughts, you have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands, of course, is the wounded warrior. He needs to not give up on what he is working towards. He is also the card of like experimentation. I always look at him as the card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And sorry, that was in the wrong place. But, he needs to experiment and try new things. So I feel that would be very beneficial for you with the Nine of Wands, and like kind of like seeing what can happen. I also feel that, again, like all your readings kind of say, that it's time to change your story. I think there are a lot of past traumas or situations, things that you've learned, like patterns that you've learned as well, that you keep repeating. And I would look at those like repeat patterns in your life and just think about how you could change them. I always say, we are in a messy time. And, one of the benefits of being in a messy time is that you can be messy, right? You don't have to be perfect right now to fix something that you're going through, or to change an old pattern. You can experiment. You can try new things. You can use that chaotic energy to your advantage. Next, in the area of your foundation, you have the Magician. Amazing. Having this in your foundation position says you can literally manifest whatever you want. So again, I wouldn't worry too much about that Tower. Worrying is going to do nothing for you. But focusing on what you do want is definitely what the Magician wants you to do. He has these flowers in front of him, and that's what he's focusing on. So again, he understands like the most powerful energy in the universe is love, or focusing on the good things, and that's exactly what I would do with the Magician. I would also look at the things that you have to change about yourself. He's all about reinvention. And so he has to be honest with himself. Like if he wants to be a millionaire, he has to look at his habits and everything he's doing, and he needs to say, like, do I have the habits, or am I acting as if I am a millionaire, or am I acting as if I don't have money, right? So he has to like change those things about himself. But this goes, I'm just using money as an example. This goes for everything in your life, love, business, money, spiritually, health-wise. It's like, are you the person that would have the outcome you desire, or are you still living in the past, in the sense that you are holding on to outdated ideas or things that are holding you back? And that's really the question that I'm getting here, like right down the middle, pretty much all this right here. Next, in your past position, you have this dragon. It says ancient wisdom, protector, and magic. You also have this capybara. It says selectiveness, group bonds, and sway. Now, I think that since you are born so close to Aries, that it's going to be important for you to make sure that you do not allow kind of like groupthink to take over, right? We have Neptune moving into Aries this year. And, it's going to retrograde back into Pisces, but at the end of the year, basically moves back into Aries, or the beginning of 2026, kind of. And Neptune and Aries, I talk about it all the time now, I think is one of those things where we have to be careful. It's not saying that we can't take advice from other people or we can't listen to other people, but we have to make sure it aligns with us, right? That's going to be the thing with Neptune and Aries, is that our belief system is in alignment with like actually our core belief system, and we're not just kind of being a sheep following the crowd, right? And so as long as you do that, you'll be fine. You have the Page of Pentacles. I'm like just hearing like what more is there to learn? I almost get this feeling of analysis paralysis on the Page of Pentacles, which he does not necessarily represent analysis paralysis. The Seven of Pentacles is kind of like the card of analysis paralysis, but that's the energy I get here with the Page of Pentacles. It's like you've been learning how to change your life, or you've been learning how to do something in your life, and now it's time to do it. I feel like there's like nothing more to learn, is what the Page of Pentacles is saying. Next, in the area of your very near future, you have this Accept Health card, and you have this Embrace Uncertainty card. Yeah, I really feel people who embrace the uncertainty of the future are going to be the most successful at this time, because we're all being asked to change, like everybody, because of Pluto and Aquarius, and some other things that are going on. A North Node moving into Pisces as well. It's like very karmic, but it's like your karmic destiny. The North Node in Pisces. It's Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. So a lot of us. And we just had this new moon in Pisces, by the way, on the 27th. And even though this video will be published on March 2nd, the new moon energy can last for like 5 days after. So you still could be feeling that energy. And, I think we're just adding all that up, that we're all being asked to kind of embrace uncertainty. It's like everything we want is probably on the other side of something uncertain. Next, in the very near future as well, you have the Hierophant, which is great. This is your card here, Taurus. So whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength. But what's really interesting is that the Page of Pentacles is the student and the Hierophant is the teacher, right? So, like I said, it's like there's nothing more for you to learn. Which, I that's not true. I think we should always be growing and learning. But, whatever you're thinking about doing with your life, I feel like you've learned enough. And the Hierophant is saying, actually, you know enough to be the teacher. But, it's like maybe people can't see that because you're not, like, out there living it, whatever it is that you're trying to do with your life at this time. And, that's the feeling I get off the Hierophant. So I feel it would be time for you to, go live it and make things happen. The Hierophant is also very powerful with the Magician, because the Hierophant, he communicates with heaven and earth. Like he is able to bring those visions of heaven down to earth. So a lot of you, have that ability, but, it's also kind of like time to do it, right? You have this Focus card and this Courage card. Yes, definitely makes sense. Focusing is going to be important, but also having the courage to take action. You always get fire sign cards with me. Of course, you don't have any in this reading because I'm trying to prove a point here, but, that could change. We're going to clarify. And, I'm always telling you that, you need to be more brave and assertive and bold at this time, which I think would really help you make a lot of progress towards whatever you're working on. Over the next few months, you have the Hermit card. I feel pretty good about this Hermit in your reading. I do get a little bit of back to the drawing board type energy here. I feel some mental processing going on here, and really that's fine. The next few months we could basically say is until May, and May is when the year really starts anyway. So we got bombarded with these retrogrades and all this retrograde energy at the beginning of the year and the end of last year, and so really we clear all that energy pretty much by May. So, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that you could be mentally processing, taking things into account. Some of you could be working on something behind the scenes as well. I do think the next few months would be an amazing time for any of you who are thinking about like launching a project or starting a personal project. I think that, doing that behind the scenes type work would be very good for you, especially if that's what you're doing in general. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Ten of Cups, which is amazing. Really couldn't ask for a better card in this area of the reading. It represents all relationships in your life. And the Ten of Cups is your community. And so I feel for a lot of you that you could be getting a lot of support from your community, or there is just a ton of support coming in from your community in general. And I would embrace that community support. I would use it to your advantage. I would take advantage of that community support as well. You have the Nine of Swords coming up in the area of your future feelings. Nine of Swords is something that needs a change. He's in pain, but he's not in enough pain to make a change. And, it's like, I also get this feeling of history. Like I said, with that King of Swords. What's popping into my head is I don't remember who it was, right? But I once heard a person say, and I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but I heard a person say that, like, focusing on the past or focusing on, your past issues and things is like chewing a piece of gum that's already been chewed, that has all the flavor taken out of it, right? And it's like, that's what's popping into my head with the Nine of Swords, is that some of you could be a little too focused on something that's already happened, or the story that already is, but it's like there's no flavor in that story. And really, I do feel there's a very easy solution to this Nine of Swords, and it's just to tell a different story. Same thing with the Tower as well. The Tower is your outcome, but the Tower is about entering into a new reality or accepting a new reality as well. And part of me thinks that it's like there are old dreams here. I don't know, I can't really explain it. This is intuitive, so take it or leave it. But I get this feeling of like old dreams, like 20-year-old you had these ideas, these grand ideas of something that you thought you wanted or that you wanted to be when you grow up. And it's not that you can't still like have that, but it's like maybe the way that you could have that is different. It's like, let's say you always wanted to be a famous newscaster, right? And it's like, well, the news is dying, and maybe that's the reality that you are facing. But really, it's not. News on YouTube, right? YouTubers that talk about the news is really like taken off. So it's like there's still a way that you can be the thing that you wanted to be when you grew up, but maybe you just have to take a different approach or a different angle, and you have to accept the new reality. I hope that makes sense, right? Same thing with like relationships. It's like maybe you thought relationships were all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns, but maybe you've realized like the truth of relationships, and it's like saying, there's some harsh truths about relationships nowadays, but you can also change it, or you can do things in a different way. With the Four of Wands and the King of Swords, you have the Ten of Wands. It's like too many burdens and dealing with too much. Again, changing your story, because the Four of Wands is really not a bad card. I mean, he's carrying a heavy burden, but he's about to get to his home in the background here. And once he puts down those 10 wands, he will be having a harvest. So I do feel a little bit that your hard work is paying off. I would just make sure that, again, you're not carrying too many burdens or too much weight on your shoulders with that 10 of wands. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Seven of Cups. Yeah, the dreams that I was talking about. It's funny that I said that, and then there you go. You get the Seven of Cups, which is he's dreaming of something. Personally, I think the Seven of Cups is a good card, and actually showing up in the area of your thoughts is also pretty good. I mean, it's just saying that you're daydreaming. If there was ever a time or a month where we should be daydreaming, it's probably this month, because all that energy in Pisces, and Venus will retrograde in Pisces. I'm a Pisces. I daydream all day long, right? So Pisces love to daydream, but these daydreams, if you allow them to kind of go, could really be guiding you towards something really great. With the Magician, you have the Three of Cups. Yeah, it's clear to me that people who support you and your community is going to be very important. Now, one thing I would say is, of course, like I said with that Capybara card, it says selectiveness on it. So you have to be selective in the people that you are surrounding yourself with. You need to make sure that the people you're surrounding yourself with, are also telling a positive story. And, that's what I would focus on. So, this card is kind of like saying, spend time with people, but make sure it's not the people that are going to, drag you down. With the Page of Pentacles, in the past, we have the Tower. Again, it kind of an interesting setup, right? Because we have the student, the teacher, we have the Tower and the Tower here, and it's almost like the Tower could be needing to realize that you are the teacher, needing to realize that you have entered into a new reality, and that really could be what the Tower is talking about here. With the Hierophant, yes, you have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands says, what are you waiting for? It is, he could easily get on those boats in the ocean here, and he could go on an adventure. So it's kind of like, really the time for you to act is now, and you have everything you need, all the knowledge and wisdom, but it's about putting it out. It's kind of funny because, the other thing I want to say here is, I don't remember exactly what I said with that Hierophant, but I was kind of like saying, it's almost like something, but it's like no one else does, it's like, and I get this feeling of like needing to collect proof. It's like, if you're trying to build a business, it's like sometimes you have to have like proof that you can do what you actually say so that you can get customers, right? And it's kind of like, that's what I feel here, is that there's like this gap between like where you are and having enough proof. And so, it might be a time to go collect proof. With the Hermit, you have the Ten of Pentacles, pretty good. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire. Again, if you are working on a project, really good with that Hierophant card, or sorry, the Hierophant and the Hermit, really, I would say, and the Magician as well. It's like you're mixing those energies together to make this happen. We talk about it all the time, Taurus. This is probably your main focus. Uranus and Taurus is all about building and leaving a legacy in some way. And because Uranus and Taurus wants true freedom, but it is slow, right? I've been saying since Uranus went in Taurus, no get-rich-quick schemes, because there is no get-rich-quick with Uranus and Taurus, which is not a bad thing. The other secret to Uranus and Taurus is that if you build something stable that will last, which is what Uranus and Taurus wants, the secret is that actually you will get rich quick, even though it won't be quick, but it will be quick. And so that there's like a big difference in that energy, but very good. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Temperance card. Again, more selectiveness. Temperance is about patience, and I do feel that some of you have learned how to be more patient with connections, as in, maybe you don't let people in so quickly, or maybe you don't just trust people right away. You give them some time, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I also feel for a lot of you that you could be in a transition phase with friends. Like, there's this path here, and there's this glowing crown, and this is the path to glory. Some of you, I feel, have been trying to drag people along on your path, but it's like you're saying, like, hey, come on, we're going down this path, but they're just like dragging their feet. And you might have people in your life like that. I think the best thing for you to do is be a teacher, not as in you're not teaching them directly, but you're being successful on your own, and eventually the people that are right in your life will catch up. And I feel that's kind of the energy there. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Lovers. The Lovers is about love, of course. And there could be a little bit of love here, but the Lovers is also about picking a new path. And I feel like moving in a new direction will probably help you get out of the Nine of Swords. Again, the Nine of Swords is the same story over and over and over again. And like we've been talking about, this reading is, like many of your past readings, is about changing your story. With the Tower, you have the Five of Wands. I mean, like I've been saying for years now, that until 2033, we are in a time of global chaos, basically. You can see it. So, the Five of Wands is conflict and competition. The trick with the Five of Wands is to, number one, don't compare yourself to the competition, but number two, you can learn from the competition. I would say with the Tower, it's also about, not making that your reality. You have this rat. It says someone working against you or behind your back. I would be careful of this energy because of Mars retrograde. Even though Mars is direct, we're not out of the shadow until like May 2nd or something like that, or May 3rd, whatever it is. And so Mars retrograde can make us feel like people have, people are doing things behind our backs when, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but we just shouldn't focus on it. You have the Spirit says heartache over what you no longer have. I said this, but there's something much better coming in for you. Truly, like I said, I think this is, I wanted to be a newscaster. I don't know why that's popping into my head. And it's like, but you can't do something anymore, but there's actually a better way. And I feel like that's what this is talking about. And this is very Uranus and Taurus. It's like, this is, when you think about it, the gatekeepers don't exist anymore. You don't have to go to a publisher, for example, anymore to publish a book. You can just do it on Amazon, right? And so it's like, and same thing with TV, right? You don't have to, go pitch something to a television station to get on TV. You can just start your own TV station right now, right here in the comfort of your own living room, right on YouTube. So it's like, part of me feels like that is the message of the reading. You might be thinking there's a gatekeeper. There is no gatekeeper anymore, and that's what you have to realize. You have this camel card. It says persevere and you will overcome your problems. 9 of Wands. We already, basically said that. You have this younger woman. It says dealings with or relationships with a younger woman. You have this kangaroo. It says unsettled times, need to plan ahead. Tower, 5 of Wands. I mean, again, I think there's going to be a lot of craziness in 2025. We've already seen plenty, but there will be more. And we just need to keep our head on straight. And again, don't make it part of your reality. Yes, like don't ignore the problems, but also don't absorb it so much that you become part of the problem, right? You have this casket. It says someone going out of your life or the end of a situation. Definitely. I mean, there's definitely some sort of change. My thing about coffins in the tarot and in the oracle decks is that coffins are your old life. And this whole entire reading is saying you're stepping into a new life, which could be, could be scary. I'm not going to sugarcoat it with that tower, but I also think you'll be fine and you'll get through it here, Taurus. So pretty interesting reading. Again, not terrible. Tower could be a little bit scary, but I think it's that, kind of that in-between time, and also like the student and the teacher thing that was popping into my head. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.